The cold spray of water hit her before I even realized where I had pointed the hose. For one frozen second, time seemed to stop. My heart dropped as my beautiful new neighbor stood there in the bright summer sunshine. Her yellow blouse soaked, her hair dripping, and her surprised smile slowly replacing the shock on her face. I was already apologizing before the water stopped flowing, convinced I had just ruined the worst day of my life. But instead of walking away angry, she stepped closer and whispered something so unexpected that it changed not only that afternoon, but the direction of my entire future. Before we continue, if you believe kindness, hope, forgiveness, compassion, and second chances can still change lives, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, leave a kind comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps these heartfelt stories reach more people every day. My name is Nathan, and I lived in a quiet neighborhood outside Asheville, North Carolina. At 34, my life looked stable from the outside. I had a decent landscaping business, a small home inherited from my grandparents, and neighbors who waved politely whenever I drove by. What nobody saw was how lonely life had become after losing both my parents within 3 years. I buried myself in work because work never asked difficult questions. Flowers needed watering. Lawns needed cutting. Trees needed trimming. Those things made sense. Feelings didn't. The house next door had remained empty for nearly a year until one warm June morning a moving truck appeared. Throughout the day, I noticed a woman carrying boxes with quiet determination. She wasn't surrounded by helpers or family. She did everything herself. I thought about introducing myself several times, but each opportunity slipped away as I convinced myself she probably wanted privacy. A week later, I was watering my flower beds near the property line. The afternoon sun was unusually hot, and I wasn't paying attention when I heard footsteps behind me. As I turned suddenly, the hose swung with me, sending a powerful stream directly toward my neighbor. Before I could react, she was completely soaked. Embarrassment rushed over me. I dropped the hose and hurried toward her, apologizing again and again. She looked at me for several long seconds before a gentle smile appeared. Then she leaned slightly closer and whispered that nobody had laughed with her in months, and somehow this ridiculous accident was the first thing that had made her smile since her husband passed away. Those words settled heavily in my heart. Her name was Grace. She had moved to North Carolina to start over after spending nearly 20 years in Ohio. The house next door wasn't just another address. It was the place where she hoped grief would finally loosen its grip. She wasn't running away from memories. She was simply trying to learn how to breathe without feeling guilty for surviving. Over the following weeks, our conversations became part of everyday life. Sometimes we spoke while pulling weeds. Sometimes we shared lemonade on the porch after long workdays. Other evenings we simply watched the sunset in comfortable silence. There was no pressure to fix each other's pain. Somehow that made healing easier. Grace often volunteered at the local community garden, helping families grow fresh vegetables. One Saturday she invited me along. At first I hesitated. I wasn't good around groups anymore. But seeing children proudly carry baskets of tomatoes they had grown themselves reminded me how powerful simple acts of kindness could be. For the first time in years, I wasn't thinking about everything I had lost. I was thinking about how much good still existed. As summer slowly turned toward autumn, our friendship grew stronger. My neighbors noticed that I smiled more often. I reopened projects I had postponed for years. Grace painted colorful flowers along the fence separating our yards, joking that every good friendship deserved beautiful borders instead of invisible walls. One rainy afternoon, I found an old wooden bench my grandfather had built decades earlier. It had been sitting forgotten inside my garage. Together we sanded it, repaired every crack, and painted it a warm white. We placed it beneath a large maple tree between our homes, creating a place where anyone in the neighborhood could sit, rest, or simply enjoy the evening breeze. Soon elderly couples, young parents, joggers, and children stopped there regularly. Conversations began that never would have happened otherwise. Without realizing it, one accidental moment had quietly transformed not only 2 lonely lives but an entire neighborhood. Months later, Grace admitted she no longer counted the days since losing her husband. Instead, she counted moments that reminded her life could still surprise her with goodness. I confessed that I no longer woke up feeling completely alone. We had never planned to rescue each other. We had simply chosen to keep showing up with kindness. If this story has brought even a small smile to your heart, please take a moment to like the video, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need a reminder that hope often arrives in the most unexpected ways. Your support truly helps these stories continue reaching people who need encouragement. Before this story ends, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever experienced one unexpected moment that completely changed your life? Share your answer in the comments below because your story may inspire someone else who is quietly carrying a heavy burden today. Whenever I walk past that old bench beneath the maple tree, I still remember the afternoon when a simple mistake filled with embarrassment became the beginning of something beautiful. Life rarely changes through grand speeches or perfect plans. Sometimes it changes because of a laugh shared after an accident, a conversation between strangers, or a whispered sentence filled with honesty. Kindness has a remarkable way of finding us when we least expect it, and when we choose to pass it on, its ripple can reach far beyond anything we ever imagined.